Once there was a kid named Christopher Columbus. He lived in a magical land called Italy, where they eat pizza all the time, and the princess is always in another castle. When he was young, Chris worked helping his father with his weaving/tavern-keeping business, but then he got kind of bored, so he just became a sailor instead.
Oh no! The ship's hit a Dinkelberg!
After his ship got wrecked, he landed in Portugal, which happened to be the most awesome explorers ever and stuff. Then he got married, and his new father-in-law gave him a cool map that said that since the Earth was round, you could get here by going here, and then get some of Asia's gold, spices, and other stuff. Even though they were here, and Asia was literally right over here, they couldn't just walk across because these Muslim dudes were blocking their path. So Columbus went to the king and was like,
Yo, bro,
we should totally do this plan. But the king was like, OMG, no, you're stupid, get out. But then as soon as Columbus walked away, he did it anyway without him, and then he failed. So Columbus went to Spain instead. They were kind of busy at the moment in a heated battle, so they gave him some money and told him to shoo off, but 7 years later, they finally agreed to give him some stuff. So in 1492, Columbus sailed out with 90 men and 3 boats named the Pinta, the Nina, and the
John C.
After 2 months of sailing, the crew got bored and demanded that they turn back, but Columbus wouldn't tell them the way home, so they had no choice but to keep going. Finally, on October 11th, they hit land. Columbus stood up and said, "Yes, we've hit India!" Because he failed to realize there was a whole other continent on the planet where he actually landed in the Bahamas. So he ran to the natives. They're like, "Hey, sup, Indians? How about you tell me where I can get some gold at?" But they didn't have that much gold, so he just threw them on a ship and forced them to bring him to the gold mines, which did not exist, by the way. So he left some guys on the island and started a colony called Hispaniola. Then he went back to Spain and was all,
success!
Then in March 1493, he came back to Hispaniola to check on his colony, and this is what he saw. The Indians were not happy being slaves and tried to rebel, but he overpowered them and forced them all to mine for gold. Then a government official from Spain came and saw a bunch of rebels that Columbus killed, and decided Columbus is actually a pretty terrible dude, so he locked him up and brought him back to Spain. The queen let him go, obviously, and allowed him to return to Hispaniola, but by now everyone hated him because he lied to them multiple times, so when his ship
hit a Dinkelberg!
Again, seriously, that guy's probably the worst sailor in the world. He was stranded on an island, and no one came to help him. Then he met some natives who fed him for a while, but then they stopped feeding him. So he looked up when the next eclipse would happen and said, "If you don't feed me, I will turn off the moon." Then an eclipse happened, and the natives were like, "Whoa, whoa, 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 whoa." The natives thought he was a wizard, so they kept feeding him, and a year later, someone finally came and brought him back to Spain. And then he died. The end.